Tigers. Coward saved by Scott. You can hear the crowd going up around Perry Park. Hill puts it away. There's scenes here at Perry Park for the second successive year. The Wellington Phoenix have been knocked out of the round of 32 by an NPL club.
Good evening, welcome to Kinsella's Sports Complex for this, the last game of the third round, last scheduled game anyway, of the third qualification round in the southeast corner of Queensland of the FFA Cup. The Lakes taking on Burleigh Heads in a tantalising matchup for this round, an interdivisional round. We've got a team from the Brisbane Premier League against a team from the Gold Coast Premier League, and these interdivisional clashes, interzonal clashes, have created some real interest over the last couple of years since the Cup was designed to be run this way, and we're hoping tonight will be no different. I'm Simon Smale in position here on a sunny afternoon at Kinsella Sports Complex. It is warm, very humid. There is cloud cover coming over from the southwest, and there are a couple of storm cells as well. So we'll have to keep our eye on those, but at the moment things are clear. Blue sky away to the north and those clouds coming up from the south. Two teams today. Well, they're meeting in the FFA Cup for the first time. Not that unusual really. Burleigh Heads only entered the Cup for the first time in 2019. They missed the first 5 years, and the Lakes, they sat out a couple of seasons as well. But there are two teams on the up. The Lakes in particular, 3 promotions in 3 years. It's a real meteoric rise for this club, and it's a club with so much potential. They won the Cap 2 Premiership, the Cap 3 double. They've beaten, lost to Brisbane Athletic in consecutive grand finals there. They've won 50% of their cup ties. Women's team also in the BWPL. It's the North Lakes Mustangs that they will be rumoured to be merging with in the next couple of years, which will make a big difference. Make this one of the super clubs of the area. So 1,200 members, and it's an area with such potential, a growing area to the north of Brisbane, about 30k or so north of the CBD. Running quickly through the side, starting with the home team. Jay Roy in goal. In front of him, number 3, Andre McCusker. Number 5, Harry Smith. Number 6, Daniel Foggerty. Well-renowned futsal player. Played over 70 times for the Futsal Roos. 2 World Cups, 4 Asian Championships. We'll talk more about him over the course of the day, I'm sure. He's wearing number 6, number 7, Charlie Porter, number 8, Adam Sparks, number 9, Josh Fern, number 10, Jack Porter, number 11, Thomas Cashman, number 14, Daniel Spencer, number 15, Jared Shan. The Burleigh Heads Bulldogs in the white. Ryan McCloy in goal. Shinoshike Kobayashi wearing number 2. Number 4, Matthew Noble. Number 6, Jaron Pfefferkorn. Number 7, Beckham Casey. Number 8, Alex Pinchin. Number 9, Andrew McIntosh. Number 11, James Ellins. Number 13, Max Lyons. Number 10, Sebastian Bubicello. And number 23, Felipe Cabach. It'll be the visitors, Burleigh, who kick things off in this 3rd round cup contest. And a nice little shimmy there, almost undone by a slightly loose pass from the skipper for Burleigh as they kick from right to left. It's still in. We're using the black lines today, just to make you aware, not the white rugby lines. Long ball, long throw on prospect here, and it's gone in with ease. Really impressive run. It's good work from Kobayashi, who actually broke down on the way up here from the Gold Coast. Jaron Pfefferkorn, just the easiest long throw I think you'll ever see. No effort at all to put that one into the mix. That'll be something to look out for Burleigh as that ball comes our way. And it's good pressure from the home team. And it'll be Adam Sparks who takes the throw. He opts to go safety first and keep the game going. Jay Roy getting an early touch and no pressure at all, which will be pleasing for him. Here's Josh Fern, 2-time Player of the Year at the Lakes. It's launched upfield by McCloy, under slightly more pressure than his counterpart was a few moments ago. Nonetheless, he dealt with it very well. Fairly sparse crowd in, building all the time. We've had juniors come along to help walk the 2 teams out. Again, it's a club with a real community atmosphere as the ball goes out over on that far side of the field after a brief flicker of excitement. Lots of discussion. You can hear down to our right Terry Jamman and Steve Harrison, the coaching duo at the Lakes. 2 Englishmen signed for this year. This is their 1st year with the Lakes. It's already got 1 win under their belt in competition against North Brisbane in the 2nd round at Prentice Park. Good way to start the year. Gives them their 5th win in 9 FFA Cup games. Ball coming dangerously close to us on our scaffold over on this side. Keeps us on our toes. Beckham Casey gets the ball forward. There is a story to the name. We'll tell it if we have time later. That's a nice little touch there from Pfefferkorn. He wanted the return pass, didn't get it from Cabach. Cabach does win the throw-in, and Pfefferkorn has already shown that he's well adept at getting the ball in these situations. No Burleigh players making their way into the middle though. It's gone all the way towards the penalty spot, and there's a lone player at the back there. It was Alex Pinchin who got the shot away, and it was always going high and over, and that's ended up in the creek, separating the 2 fields at the complex here at Kinsella's. That weapon from Jaron Pfefferkorn is going to be very, very difficult to deal with. It's quite a narrow pitch, but even that doesn't really speak of the ease at which he's getting that ball into the middle. Burleigh Heads left striker playing in the most advanced position at the moment, just trotting over to try and make a challenge on Harry Smith. The call comes from the supporters, and that's some neat interplay over there on the far side of the field. Lovely overlap as well. Decent cross, easily dealt with. That was a nice little flurry there by the Lakes. Should mention our refereeing team today. Liam O'Connor is the man in the middle, and he's assisted by Nick Miller and Isaac Priest. hoping for a comfortable afternoon himself. Temperature has dropped off, so shouldn't be having a break mid-half, despite the humidity. That's a nice little touch in the middle from the captain Noble. Kobayashi just mopping up there. Lyons assessing his options. As Beckham Casey on this side, instead it went to go a little bit closer towards the front line, and Kabach couldn't win the ball, and now it's an opportunity for the Lakes to go forward. And that's a really good run by Cashman, hoping to cash in on that ball. But Ellens was back, and Ellens gets the ball back to his keeper, Ryan McCloy, and it's still the feeling out process at the moment between these two teams. Colin Phelan, voice you can hear, distinctive Liverpudlian accent, just letting his players know what he expects as Kabach goes on a little run, looks for an option. That option was available, and it was a free man over on that far side in McIntosh. He'll score the goals, Panda, and is the flag going to go up here? Yes, Josh Fern was offside, the ex-MacArthur Ram, who pre-season said that his goal was to get back-to-back promotions with the Lakes, and he's achieved that, but now they're in the BPL. They can't wait to get started. He does some mini-roos coaching at the club as well, really involved in the club since moving up from Sydney. And will be involved in next week's Indigenous match as well. The Indigenous Roos taking on Peninsula Power at AJ Kelly. Check out Peninsula Power's Facebook page for more details on that. Pfefferkorn bursts free, puts an intelligent cross in, allowed to take a touch. Kabach wanted to shoot, it never fell for him, and he slaps his hands together in frustration. He almost tripped over Andrew McIntosh in front of him, whose eyes would have lit up as well, but a lot of touches allowed there from the Lakes defence, and Terry Janman and Steve Harrison will just be letting their players know that that's not acceptable. We get a running commentary from Colin Phelan. Played with East and Gold Coast City amongst others in the 4X League. Been going around the traps for a while. On and off for 10 years, over 10 years at Burleigh as a coach. He's a character well known in Football Queensland circles. Kobayashi spreads the play to this near side, and there's a little bit of room to manoeuvre. It's a nice touch from Bicello. Now there's space for Cashman after Roy found him. Harry Smith goes back to Porter. Two former Peninsula Power players. Parts of the two sets of brothers in this Lakes team. As charging forward goes Jandro McCusker. Signing from Bee Gees. Lightning quick, I'm told. New signing, only been with the club for a couple of sessions, so players still getting to know him, but he has looked lively over there on the far side of the field. Cashman's allowed to turn, goes inside. Good ball retention from the Lakes. Smith. Steve Harrison impressed with what he's seen. Over 600 games in the UK in non-league. Over 16 years. He knows what he likes. The sun just pops out from behind the clouds, illuminating proceedings. We do have the lights on. They are largely irrelevant at the moment as the cross comes in. It's a decent one, and then Cashman's there, and it took a real good save from Ryan McCloy. Just clawing up at that. Almost happened in slow motion. It was a good ball across. Cashman in the right place at the right time. Didn't make real good contact on it though, and I wonder whether or not that was the telling factor. The ball just looping up, and in the end being dealt with very well by Ryan McCloy. His second year at the club, but Burleigh just want to settle a little. Nice little flick on there from Casey to Pfefferkorn. Pfefferkorn tried to turn it inside to Bubicello. Still there for Pfefferkorn. Oh, Pfefferkorn rather got his radar wrong there. An opportunity here for the Lakes on the counter-attack. And it's the lightning pace of Foggerty. Has a player inside in Josh Fern, the two Indigenous Roos teammates, future Indigenous Roos teammates. Unable to link up there. Good opportunity, but Burleigh did manage to get players back in the right spot. Smith puts a cross in. Keeper with a loud shout, and Ryan McCloy claims as confidently as he made the call for the ball. Got rid of it upfield and turned away a little bit in disgust with himself. A little bit over-enthusiastic. Just an easy outlet ball for the Lakes to start possession once again. Here's Sparks. Kobayashi did concede the foul. Just caught Charlie Porter, and Porter does get the plaudits from his coaching team. Smith. Oh, allowed to turn was Foggerty. Oh, that's really well done at the back by Ellins, and Ellins wins the free kick. Foggerty moved up from Sydney this year. He spent 10 years as a futsal rule, so you could see that in that close control. Played 75 times and in those World Cups in 2012 and 2016 in Thailand and Colombia respectively. He's won a couple of NPL2 championships down in Sydney, signed with Mount Druitt Rangers last year, but he's played across the leagues in New South Wales, 1, 2 and 3 over the last 10 years or more. Looking forward to getting started up here at the Lakes. It looks like a really adept signing and a good signing for the Lakes to push forward into the BPL, their first season in the top flight. Good ball to Chase. Pinching over on that far side. Goes back to McIntosh. McIntosh runs into a bit of a black hole. And that ball is picked up before it can get through to Felipe Kabach, but it's just a long ball and an opportunity for Burleigh to rebuild. Kobayashi was being pleaded with to get the ball to Beckham Casey on this near side. It gets there now, although doesn't, because that was actually a good challenge by Cashman. There was a little bit of afters though. Cashman perhaps lucky to get away with that. He's come away with the ball though. Then through ball to Foggerty. Just misses its mark, and Lakes will have to build again. Burleigh will have to build again, apologies. That's a ball over the top from Casey. A bit too close to Jason Roy. Crossfield ball is on. Cashman, closed down by Casey. Doesn't have anyone ahead of him, so goes back to Sparks. And Sparks' ball inside towards Porter is picked off. Pfefferkorn has given chase. Pfefferkorn was interested there, but that was a good ball from Roy to get it out to Spencer. He's been around the traps for a while. His ball forward towards his captain, Josh Fern, is a good one. And then Fern acknowledging the work being done on him by his direct marker, Alex Pinchin. Porter. Lovely touch, lovely control over on that far side. Gives himself time to look up and put the cross in. Could fall for Porter. He's bundled off the ball though. An opportunity to break here now for Burleigh, and that's a lovely feat from Pfefferkorn. Ball's a good one. Oh, flying header, and it was a good save in the end from Roy. Just made himself big and got down low, but excellent stuff. Quick counter-attack from the Bulldogs. Lovely ball over on that far side. It all came from Jaron Pfefferkorn's fast feet in midfield. Casey does well, linking up with Kabach and wins a corner. The balance suddenly goes back in favour of the Gold Coast side. It's taken quickly. Noble, deep cross, far too deep for James Ellens, and it'll be a goal kick. An opportunity wasted, really. Josh Fern feeling the heat a little, coming over and getting a drink. It is a warm night. Thomas Cashman just being told that quick corners might be an option for Burleigh, and it was quick thinking from Beckham Casey, who, with a first name like that, you can only guess that his dad was a Man United fan. And speaking to a couple of the Burleigh supporters before the game, I did confirm that Paddy is a Manchester United fan, a big Manchester United fan. We'll come back to that, although Pfefferkorn's header is comfortably dealt with by Roy. Been a Burleigh boy for years, Paddy Casey. Said if he got told apparently when he was naming Beckham, ball over the top, it's a really good one. Bravely out was Roy, still in is Bubicello. Oh, the flag's up over on that far side, and the referee missed it, I missed it, all the players missed it, but the Lakes coaching staff certainly saw that the offside flag had gone up against Sebastian Bubicello. The South American had strayed, and in hindsight it looked like he'd strayed as well. Awkward one for Fern to deal with. Wins the header. Feeling unhappy at way to our left with that. Opportunity perhaps is there for Foggerty. Lovely ball inside, and the opening goal in this contest for Josh Fern. It was the Fern and Foggerty connection linking up so superbly, and the opening goal of this game has gone the way of the Brisbane Premier League side. Quarter of this match has been played at a really good intensity, end-to-end stuff, but a calm, assured finish from Josh Fern. You could tell Colin Phelan wasn't happy with the way that that ball was able to be headed down by Josh Fern. It was a real moon ball. You could argue that Burleigh certainly should have dealt with it slightly better, and that's what Colin Phelan's saying, but he's telling his team to forget about it now, and absolutely right. There's no reason to dwell. They need to get themselves back into the game, and every evidence suggests that they will be able to do that. Casey, flag's gone up on Pfefferkorn as he links up again with Beckham Casey, and I'll continue telling that story. Allegedly Paddy was told that when he named Beckham Casey Beckham, but he would need to give him another name just in case he didn't like it, so he gave him the middle name Rouge. Again, no hiding the Man United connection for Paddy Casey or Beckham Rouge Casey. Flicked on by Fern, the goal scorer. Come back, it's a tasty looking lob from Daniel Foggerty, and Ryan McCloy made sure he caught the ball before unleashing some expletives towards his defenders. Neat little touch from Daniel Foggerty. Probably needed to get a little bit more on it. And he launches the ball upfield. It needs to be dealt with, and is dealt with fairly adeptly there by Jack Porter at the back. No nonsense stuff. That will be a Burleigh ball.
Just sit him in front now and put fucking hands on.
Should come with an adult content warning, Colin Phelan. No filter. Foot was up from Porter, but okay, says referee O'Connor. I think he's right as well. Oh, that's nice fast feet. Really nice fast feet from Daniel Foggerty. He's in the mood now. Flag's gone up, though, as he played in Josh Fern. Daniel Foggerty is proving his worth already. Those fast feet that futsal gives you. Of course, Football Queensland did broadcast the South East Queensland Futsal League. And there's plenty of futsal clubs. You should head to footballqueensland.com.au to find your nearest one. It's such a great tool to develop that close control. And if you want an advert for it, Daniel Foggerty is giving you one at the moment. And in the MPL season, when that starts up on March 5th, and the weekend after that, the ball goes forward, flag stays down, good decision you'd think, and it's Sean. And coming out well was McCloy. He raises his hands asking what was going on. Jared Sean, who made the very short move down from North Lakes Mustangs. Defensive vulnerability really starting to show for Burleigh at the moment, and the Lakes are exploiting it mostly through Daniel Foggerty and the finesse of both he and Josh Fern. Oh, flicked on and then dealt with by McCloy. I think the flick on was from Matthew Noble in a white shirt. I'm not sure who got the final touch before McCloy had to make his intervention on the goal line. Beckham was rushed into playing that ball, so Sparks picks it up, although his ball forward is picked off, and Casey will have another go. Porter can't thread the needle through to Fern. And they're starting to rock and roll the Lakes at the moment. Leading by a goal to nil. Josh Fern scored it after linking up with Daniel Foggerty. Here's the Heads number 6, Pfefferkorn. Vehement appeal from Jack Porter, but it should have been a Lakes ball, but it is going to be a long throw from Jaron Pfefferkorn. Right in towards halfway, bouncing along, and there was a touch from Bubicello. Kabatch just unable to react, and he holds his head up in frustration because that was a good opportunity. The ball just falling a yard or so in advance of where he needed to be. It's Kobayashi. Calls of a handball. Referee unmoved, even by McCloy's second attempt at the appeal. And a long ball headed into the back of his opponent by Lyons. It's worked out for the Bulldogs so far, though. Well, that's nice feet from Kabatch, and a free kick is given. Kabatch skipping past the challenge, but Liam O'Connor spotting the infringement. And there'll be an opportunity here for Burleigh to put a ball into the middle, and Jaron Pfefferkorn has put a few balls in himself, but now he's going to use his height and strength in the box, and he's been marked pretty closely by Adam Sparks. There is a height disparity there. Bubicello is involved too. It was a low ball in the end though, and a sliding challenge from Kobayashi is missed, and an opportunity here for Daniel Foggerty. Daniel Foggerty with pace. Daniel Foggerty into the opposition penalty area. Daniel Foggerty with a sensational solo goal to make it 2-0 to the Lakes. Oh, put that one on the highlights reel. A sensational solo effort from Daniel Foggerty. That's magical. Excellent football. Burleigh Heads are a long way away. I think there's been a yellow card issued to Daniel Foggerty, and Terry Jammin and Steve Harrison are infuriated by that, but they've accepted the word of Nick Muller on this near side. Beckham Casey plays the ball back into space for James Ellens to deal with, but 2-0 now, and the difficulty level has just gone up for Burleigh to get something from this game. Steve Harrison just making sure that Daniel Foggerty knows that he's got a yellow card. And we have seen send-offs over the course of this FFA Cup weekend already play quite a key role as flag goes up for Josh Fern. And how exciting is it to see the link up between he and Foggerty? If you're liking what you're seeing, make sure you check out the Indigenous Roos taking on Peninsula Power next week at AJ Kelly Park in Redcliffe, February 27th. Should be a really great occasion. For football's of the quality that Daniel Foggerty and Josh Fern are putting together for us at the moment, then anyone who goes down should be in for a real treat. Good opportunity for Peninsula Power, the reigning premiers in the National Premier League of Queensland, to have a decent run out as well before they get their NPL Queensland season underway on March 5th in the Football Foundation Cup match between the promoted side Logan Lightnings. Lubicello has an opportunity here on the edge of the penalty area against Walter Pfefferkorn, and there's a myriad of red shirts there to keep the ball away, and we've already seen what Daniel Foggerty can do one-on-one. Fortunately, he couldn't do it on that occasion. From a Lakes perspective, here comes Beckham Casey down the left. Trying to find a teammate. Unable to do so, could only pick out Jerome McCusker. Strong challenge there on Fern. Fern helped up there by Pinchin. Well, that's a decent effort. It was always going over, but a little bit of inventiveness and ingenuity. Billy Kabach, the Brazilian, showing a bit of flair. It's not bad touch, is it, from McCusker? He's shown that a couple of times. That ball leaving a little to be desired, though. There's a challenge from Rubicello to win that ball back. Here's an opportunity for Foggerty again, though. Foggerty! Good save from McCloy, and to keep her eyes on that for a moment because he wasn't sure whether he got enough of a touch, but it was just enough of a touch from McCloy. Can't take your eyes off Daniel Foggerty either. What a great signing for the Lakes. Talk about the FFA Cup, players putting themselves in the shop window, and Daniel Foggerty's obviously been around the traps and done it all in New South Wales. Later on in the season, the NPL, FQPL, you look at a player who's got that sort of inventiveness and ball control and skill, and with a couple of injuries you do wonder whether or not some FQPL teams might have a look, and or even FQPL1 teams. Their season's not starting until the 12th and 19th of March respectively. Kicking off with Ipswich Knights against Mitchelton, Holland Park Hawks against Southside Eagles on Friday, March 12th. In the FQPL1, and then the inaugural FQPL2 team will feature Caboolture against Samford. Terry Kirkham Derby, we could probably call that, couldn't we? Porter. Rubicello, apologies. Too narrow is the call from Colin Phelan. That's a poor pass. Onside will be the call on Foggerty. As players arriving, Cashman at the back post, opts to go near post to Fern. Fern with the chip. Not far away at all. Those was all the mistakes, our coach killers. 2-0. Still in the first half. Here at Kinsellas. Oh, it was a good header in the end because Beckham Casey was quite interested. And Sparks fully committing. Kobayashi. Noble. Linking up with Kabach. Heavy touch from Beckham Casey. And that ended up resulting in the ball being lost, and an opportunity here again for the Lakes on the counter-attack through Cashman. Cashman under pressure from Kobayashi. Kobayashi does well. And then it looked like Cashman might have been a little bit confused by the white and black lines. It's the black lines we're using today. It is confusing because the fields aren't quite lining up properly. The lines do intersect down towards the corner flag away to our left. Harry Smith, I think, was pinged on that occasion. And Cashman told to leave the ball well alone. Casey has spent a fair while of this match with his arms outstretched in frustration. That's a nice little ball over the top, though, for Kabach. Good challenge from Charlie Porter to snuff out the danger. Good football from Burleigh. They've certainly been a key player in this game. Been involved in a lot of what we've seen going forward, and they've provided a fair few flash points of their own. The attacking third of the field, but it's going to be an awkward one to keep in. He's just kept in. No. Assistant over on the far side. I don't know if Colin Phelan said a word suggesting that he wasn't sure the linesman could possibly have seen from where he was that that ball had gone out of play, but Jason Roy wasn't given the benefit of the doubt. The wind is blowing across the field, so this will help the corner be swept in from the captain. And FFA corner is pinged, and Colin Phelan isn't overly impressed. Both coaching teams have asked the assistant on this near side about how much time's gone, and they've both expressed incredulity that it's only been not even half an hour yet. But those of us watching have been enjoying this game, don't necessarily want the time to fly by too quickly. It is 2-0 in favour of the home team. Goals in the 17th and 24th minute from Josh Fern and Daniel Foggerty respectively. Good ball out to Cashman. Intelligent stuff from Jack Porter. Kobayashi mops up though, trying to link up with Kabach, and Kabach wins the free kick. A little bit enthusiastic for challenge from Adam Sparks. And Sebastian Bubicello just encouraging his teammates. Noble is given responsibility. Captain's going to swing it in. Good ball towards the back post. And then it was two Burleigh players getting in each other's way. Pfefferkorn was one. Wind blowing from behind us as you look at things now, so diagonally across the field. Colin Phelan wants the game sped up a little. No harm in that, I suppose. 35 minutes gone in this contest. Other FFA Cup games kicking off across the country. There's other games taking place in Queensland as well, and New Farm United leading Newmarket by 2-1 down at New Farm in the city. And in the other real big game in this third round, Ripley Valley beating Sanford Rangers by a 1-0. Ripley Valley, real fairy tale story really. They're rising up through the leagues. Snowball's barged off the ball, hoped for a whistle, didn't get one. Fortunately, he's bailed out by a good tackle at the back there, but then Casey gives the ball away. Opportunity here, and Fern can't quite poke the ball past McCloy. And again, it's always Daniel Foggerty or Josh Fern involved in those situations for the Lakes. Can Burleigh strike back before half-time? Not like that, they can't. Still there, though, over on that far side for Pynchon. He'll look for an outlet pass from the throw. McIntosh picks it up. It's forced back, all the way back to Lines. Noble. Kabach coming back to get involved in play. Ellins also acts as captain on occasion. Good ball retention from Burleigh. First time we've really seen this today. Noble in a more advanced position, can't quite squeeze it through, but no harm done. A good early ball there, but Casey lets it run underneath his foot, and an early little mistake there from Beckham Casey, and the move breaks down. He'll be disappointed with himself. That was good retention from Burleigh, and they certainly not out of this game yet. It's been moments of brilliance from Daniel Foggerty and Josh Fern. They've created a couple of opportunities themselves, although it has to be said that Jay Roy hasn't really had to make a save. Only one from memory this first half so far. Peffercorn can't quite get his boot there. Spencer intercepts, gets the ball upfield nicely to Foggerty, but Fern was offside. And then kicked away is Cashman. Cashman's going to earn himself a yellow card. And that's pretty silly, to be honest, from the former Peninsula Power Junior. Speak of unnecessary yellow cards, and you could certainly argue that Daniel Foggerty's yellow card was not worth it for taking his shirt up or popping it up over his head after celebrating that second goal. It's good strength there from Bubicello. Didn't have the pass at the end of it though. Bubicello might have caught someone on the way through there. On a bit of a rampage, Bubicello. There'll be a throw in on this near side, and they're asking for a free kick, the Lakes players, but nothing doing, says our referee. Peffercorn will take the throw. It's a long one up towards the penalty spot again. Kobayashi with the header back inside, flicked on by McIntosh. There's nobody there to take advantage. Direct up towards Fern. It's going to fall for Cashman. Cashman wide. Is Foggerty in space? That's not what you want to afford him. Ball's cut back, and it's a little bit too far back for Josh Fern, who raises his head just as the ball was played immediately almost. He could see the angles not quite working out. But here's Kabach looking for angles of his own. That's a good ball for Peffercorn. Flag's gone up though, and that had to be narrow.
From there, there's no... Can you? Okay.
Colin Phelan expressing some omnipresence in his views. Said he can see from everywhere if you didn't quite catch it. And if you did catch it, apologies for any swear words that are being picked up as well. You do have to be fluent in Scouse to understand a lot of it, but Colin Phelan really frustrated. And it had to be a tight decision, I think. Oh, it needed to be a good touch as well, because otherwise Josh Fern was coming in again, and Josh Fern acknowledged the touch from the defender on his way through as well. Such a shame, because Burleigh, had they scored then, and Andrew McIntosh pushed the ball in under no pressure at all after the cutback from Peffercorn. Whether or not he would have been afforded that space had the flag not gone up and the whistle gone, we don't know, of course. It was neat from Noble, ineffective, but way to get the ball past his opponent. Battle going on here between Fern and Ellens, and then Ellens gives away the free kick and the yellow card. It's been a good battle between those two, and that's a nice little hug between the two players as well. Josh Fern saying, you probably don't need to book him, Liam O'Connor, but Liam O'Connor saying we can't really encourage that sort of behaviour at that stage of the field, and it's probably a right call to give the yellow card. There's been a couple already given in this game. 4 minutes or so before the half-time break. Daniel Foggerty standing over the ball. He's been magic so far for the Lakes. What can he conjure from this free kick? It's aimed towards the head of Josh Fern, and it is more magic from this pair. Apologies, it wasn't Josh Fern. It was the veteran Daniel Spencer. A great header. McCloy couldn't do much, and 3 goals now for the home team. That is an absolute magic free kick from Daniel Foggerty. Absolutely perfect. Beckham Casey had taken 10 yards at his leisure on this near side of the field. No one seems to have noticed. Ball hasn't come this way anyway. It comes here now though. Great header from Daniel Spencer. Apologies to Josh Fern for crediting him with the goal. I'm sure he won't mind as a striker, but I bet Daniel Spencer will show some consternation, but I didn't immediately credit him with that brilliant goal. Kabach goes around the outside, or at least attempts to. Porter doing battle and battling a little bit too hard. Free kick is given, and Burleigh Heads could do with a goal here, you'd think. My latest stating the bleeding obvious statement of the day. Beckham Casey has gone over to take it. Let's see if he shares anything else with the former England international aside from a name. Six in the box. Doesn't beat the first man, who was Harry Smith. Any desire there. Alex Pinchin to get the ball back quickly and get it back in play. That's exactly what Colin Phelan was saying before, that he wanted the ball in play more, and I don't think any football supporter would argue against that. Coming across there was the goal scorer Spencer to make the header, and it's a corner kick. Some frustration being expressed from players and supporters alike. Goal here might make Colin Phelan feel a little bit happier about things. And give him some hope ahead of the second half. They go short this time, changing the angle. It's flicked off the head, heads back inside, and the only players there are those wearing red shirts, and it was Adam Sparks who helped it behind for another corner on the other side. Good header back inside from James Ellens. It'll be an opportune time for Burleigh Heads to get one back. Swept in, it's a good corner, it's pinballing around, and it's in! Well, they had to score next, and Alex Pinchin has provided it. The right back just poking home, sheer weight of numbers paying off there for Burleigh Heads, and that might change things slightly in terms of the half-time. FFA trying to pull the wool over everyone's eyes there by taking the free kick, taking the restart himself. I mean, it says a lot about how quickly they want to get on with things, though. Now Liam O'Connor gets things underway. And an ambitious effort from Daniel Foggerty, and it's probably the first thing he's got wrong today, really. He's tried to catch McCloy off his line a couple of times. He's not standing too far forward. I don't know if he's questioning McCloy's mobility. Nothing wrong with Foggerty's mobility. You can see him chasing down, and then his strike partner Josh Fern as well. That pressure from the front. So impressive from the Lakes, so impressive from Foggerty and Fern. They've been brilliant so far. The Indigenous Roos pair for the Lakes. And Sparks giving clear instruction. Foggerty heads it on, headed back by Casey. Bit of head tennis. Casey does well in the end. Poked on by Noble. Nice little flick there from Kabach. Gets a return pass from Bubicello and wins a free kick. And Colin Phelan keeping things rolling by getting the ball back to where the free kick should be taken from. Tell you what, the Lakes have been good. Burleigh have been okay. They score another quick goal here though, and going into the Sheds at 3-2. Changes the complexion entirely. The Lakes had led by 3-0. Oh, it's a decent free kick as well from Noble. Got his angles right. So too did the Lakes defenders. And it will be a throw-in, and FFA will look to put this in. He won't have an opportunity to do so. It'll be 3-1 at half-time. The Lakes leading through goals to Josh Fern and Daniel Foggerty, as well as a brilliant diving header from Daniel Spencer that was created by a Daniel Foggerty free kick. Then Alex Pinchin just nipping in at the end there before the half-time break to make things slightly interesting for the second half and keep Burleigh Heads in it. They've got an excellent record in the FFA Cup, Burleigh Heads. They do not want to let things go now. We'll have a short break at half-time, but it is the Lakes leading Burleigh Heads by 3-1. We'll be back after these messages.
There's something magical that happens inside those four painted lines. Yes, there's tackles, saves, goals, but that's not the magic I'm talking about. The FFA Cup, the pinnacle of knockout tournaments, where over 700 teams from grassroots to professional clubs battle it out to be Australia's champion. And it's here, on this stage, in front of these fans, where the magic really happens. Because there are no second chances, no days off, no excuses. To win, you need to be the best on the day. And just like when David bested Goliath, when the odds are stacked against you, when winning seems impossible, magic happens. We've seen the giants fall before, and it will happen again. So allow yourself to dream. The fans can dare to dream that this is the day. The chance for glory. The magic of the FFA Cup is real, and the time is now.
Oh, amazing touch. Spectacular.
It's time to cross. A towering header. keeper's out. The net's open!
Some people can't hide their passion. Don't hide yours. Join our team.
When you're smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you.
Happiness is knowing you'll find the perfect vehicle every time. Thrifty, smiles all the way.
No better time to invest in women's football than right now. The success of Matildas and the Women's World Cup coming to our backyard in the next 3 years, it's incredibly important for governments to show that they support this kind of growth, they support this kind of female participation and this significant growth in football as a whole.
You know, a number of other sports have got their spiritual home, you know. Netball have got a purpose-built, you know, now spiritual home here in Queensland. You know, softball's always had Downey Park, you know, the hockey facility at Columbia. So all the other sports have got like a home of football, if you like, and it would be really great to have our own place to call home where we could really, you know, on a day-to-day basis, really work through living and breathing, you know, our vision and philosophy. It creates that, as you say, a shared sense of purpose, a shared sense of belief. You know, your club philosophy, your entire vision and philosophy can run throughout the club, and you can see that. You can role model it, you know, to all of the different sections. Everyone is on the same page. They're all moving in the same direction, all working for that same goal and that unified purpose. And I think that's incredibly important. You know, even if you look at the landscape in Queensland, we're very, very proud sporting history of Queenslanders, you know, making up more than their fair share of Olympians, Commonwealth Games participants, World Cup participants in both the Socceroos and the Matildas, and over generations, you know, we've certainly batted above that average in terms of providing players to the national team space across a whole range of sports.
It's integral to be in a professional setup to feel that you've got a career path there and you've got the players and resources and infrastructure to become the best player that you can be. And I think it's incredibly important for the likes of Queensland, where we've produced a ton of Matildas in the past, that we continue to be on that forefront of providing world-class facilities. Both Football Queensland and the state government realise there's a huge opportunity at hand with the Women's World Cup coming to our shores. I think it's agreed across the board that now is the time to invest in football in Australia and to invest in the success of the Matildas and the success of the next generation of Matildas. I think everybody sees the time is now. Football is an incredibly popular sport worldwide, and it's time for Australian governments and local governments to put that into practice and provide the infrastructure needed to create the next generation.
Welcome back to Kinsella's. Second half coming up with this FFA Cup third round tie between the Lakes and Burleigh Heads. The Lakes leading by 3-0 as things stand, but the difficult half-time talk made slightly easier perhaps for Colin Phelan by that late goal at the end of that half by Alex Pynchon to make it 3-1. That was after Daniel Foggerty and Josh Fern had scored the opening 2 goals, and then Daniel Spencer with a diving header. It was 2 assists for Daniel Foggerty and a solo wonder goal. Again, stick that one in the highlights reel because it's an absolute special goal from Daniel Foggerty. Sure, there's lots of people watching along on Facebook, as I saw at half-time. Had a quick look through. And Reza Barney said, got in touch and said he scored 2 in the Queensland Super Futsal final for Gold Coast Force yesterday, Daniel Foggerty, so he's in fine form. The sun is dipping down and just creating a few issues for us, so apologies if the viewing quality isn't great for the next couple of minutes, but we'll do our best to keep things ticking over for you. I'll say to you as well, it's not making things easy for me either up here on the gantry, the sun streaming into our face, but it's the home team, the Lakes, who get things underway in the second half, kicking from right to left in the red shirts with the black trim, black shorts and black socks. Burleigh in their change strip of all white, and the numbers for those were only decided on the end. Brodie Smith has come on wearing number 20. It's an instant change that can see Colin Phelan's made. Not sure if he's made any other changes at half time aside from that. Good perseverance there from McIntosh to win the ball back. Panda, as he's known at the club. That's good position. Good possession retention so far at the start of this half from the visitors. Here's the pacey Brodie Smith. And ball given against Brodie Smith though. Colin Phelan again, not overly impressed, and if you are offended by the language, we do apologise.
Go on, Panda, make him play it. Go on, Panda.
Nice little switch from McCusker. Got the ball back inside and it's hammered upfield by Daniel Spencer. Ball back in possession of Burleigh now. Sun just about coming down as well, so fortunately we haven't missed much, if anything. Wind coming across from right to left, swung around a little bit, still sort of looking the way you are from behind the camera. That's the way it's blowing. Thank you for getting in touch on Facebook. Do leave your comments, keep it respectful of course. And hope you are enjoying this coverage of the FFA Cup. It's great to have it back after last year's premature finish. Both these teams played last year. Burleigh getting a 3-0 win against Western Spirit. An opportunity down at the other end of the field and almost pinballed in off the challenge. Decent run over there on the far side of the field, and perhaps fortunate to get away with the pinball effect there, but Thomas Cashman, who was booked over in the first half. Free kicks given away by Adam Sparks, who was good in that first half.
Come on, Lee!
Sun's gone, which means we can dispense with the sunglasses for the moment and get a clear view on what's going on as Max Lyons takes the ball forward. Tried to thread the needle, does thread the needle through. Cello got a touch. Brodie Smith was involved as well. Shouldered it back in by Smith. Oh, shimmy there from Bubicello, and a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area. There's two Burleigh players on the ground. A yellow card is shown to Charlie Porter for the first challenge. Kobayashi ended up on the ground as well. Right on the edge of the penalty area.
Look along the line. Jazzy.
Matthew Noble is walking away from it. I do wonder why, because his deliveries were quite good towards the end of that first half. It's Beckham Casey though.
Make sure you beat the first defender.
Timely advice from Colin Phelan. It'll be Beckham to swing this one in left-footed. Awkward one to deal with. It's helped away though. Nice touch from Noble. Chipped over the top. Flag stays down. Kabach wins a corner. We still very much have a contest here at Kinsella Sports Complex. The Lakes leading 3-0 at one stage. Noble didn't quite get the touch initially wanted. Beckham Casey, sorry, helps it back in. Helped away though by the Lakes defence. Kobayashi can't get it through to Peffercorn, and that was good work from Porter. Here's Foggerty, twisting, turning. Can he provide another assist? The cross is a little bit too deep. Bubicello cannot believe that he's been penalised there. Colin Phelan is of the same opinion. It's Jared Sean who was upended. Admittedly, not a great time for the Sun to come back out. With the Burleigh Heads goal threatened. Three-man wall. 5 red-shirted players in the penalty area. Another, Jared Shan on the edge. He's joined by Charlie Porter, dropping back. So just 4 now. For Liam O'Connor, just telling everyone to settle down a little in the middle. Daniel Spencer, the veteran, pleading his innocence. Foggerty with the free kick, and arriving was Fern. And that's a great challenge from Charlie Porter. It will be a goal kick, but great commitment from he with the luscious locks. Brother Jack wearing the number 10 shirt. Quite so follically blessed. By far from being follically challenged. That was him winning the ball there. An opportunity here for Burleigh Heads. Kabach. Pfeffercorn. Cross comes in just over the head. Arriving is Smith. It's just over the head of Bubicello. Now that's a nice idea from McCusker. It intersected the two Indigenous Roos players, Foggerty and Fern. Kobayashi to Smith. Noble dropping back. Poor pass from Lyons. Coming forward is Sparks. Got deflected on its way through. It'll be a goal kick. Matthew Noble just pointing where he wanted the ball to be. Scouser spent some time with Doncaster in the UK. Has Football League experience. Coming back was Foggerty. He got enough of a touch to get the ball to Fern. Fern's managed to find McCusker. McCusker has pace. McCusker twists and turns out. Has to be a free kick right on the edge of the penalty area, and Brodie Smith may well see yellow, and in fact he does. Great pace from Andre McCusker. McCusker just making sure he's okay. He's testing, checking. It was a clumsy challenge, I think, is fair to say, by Brodie Smith. I reckon Daniel Foggerty's going to have a shot here. I'll bet my lunch money on it. Foggerty. Oh, that's brilliant! That is superb. Excellent stuff from Daniel Foggerty. The celebration as well. Joined in by Josh Fern. Those two players will be playing for the Indigenous Roos against Peninsula Power next week. I've mentioned it a couple of times. He's well worth celebrating though. That's a fantastic free kick from Daniel Foggerty. Oh boy. He's been a fun player to watch so far in this game. He's playing with a smile on his face as well. Two solo goals. Could we have another here? Over the top, it's always going wide. He's always been looking for that, Foggerty. He's had 2 assists as well. Josh Fern is really animated here, and he's getting into a really strong conversation with Liam O'Connor. There's only going to be one winner with that. Substitutions being made anyway beneath us. Lockie Mole is coming on. And Jaron Pfefferkorn is coming off. He's still going, Josh Fern. It's a funny thing to be upset about. Seems to be right on the edge, Josh Fern. He was told by his teammates just to let it go. It's a bit of an unusual one, that. Maybe he can sense blood in this game. Foggerty turned into a spot of bother there in the form of James Ellens, who made the challenge. And then a free kick is going to go the way of Burleigh for a foul on Philippe Kabach. And this game's been played in a really good spirit, at a really good tempo. And we'd hate for it to sort of descend into a niggly sort of contest where somebody does something a little bit silly. Casey plays the ball into Moy. And it's run out for a goal kick. So the Lakes have made a goalkeeping change at half time. Chris Reynolds has come on.
Nice in, eh?
A decision needs to be made for Terry Janman and Steve Harrison, whether or not to just take Josh Fern off, just to maybe calm him down a little. He seemed to be very agitated about that. That superb celebration from both he and Foggerty.
Go on then, go on, in we go! In we go!
Sean. Oh, it's a nice ball forward to McCusker. McCusker has space. Arriving is Fern. Fern at the near post. Can't quite help it on its way through. He's had a couple of those opportunities. Josh Fern hasn't quite managed to connect the way he'd have wanted to on either occasion. Sean just getting his foot in. Sean was manhandled there, and then a couple of players come in. Rubicello is undoubtedly fouled. That ball has absolutely gone out from Matthew Noble. Jared Sean getting the plaudits. Well, Harry Smith just copped one there, and Bubicello acknowledging that he might have got a touch. How about that? Keeping on his feet is Foggerty. Brilliant balance from Foggerty. Inside, and a good save by McCloy. Denies Josh Fern a goal, and Daniel Foggerty a hat-trick of assists. How's the balance from Daniel Foggerty? He was well and truly chopped. Well, Reynolds wanted to come then. In the end, he did make his way out, but only to receive the header. Sean is just feeling away at his knee. Ball goes forward to Fern. There's nobody in support. It'll be comfortably and gratefully received by Ryan McCloy. Space to run into for Lyons. Angles all wrong there, and Lyons shows his frustration. It's been that sort of evening really for Burleigh Heads. Won the 2019 Gold Coast Premier League. They won the double then, lost a few players since then. It's a dominant performance. I mean, Surfers Paradise by 11 points, 3-0 in the grand final. Finished 5th last year, just outside the playoffs or the finals. Foggerty is given another gift. Was there a hand there? Looked like Ellens might have had a bit of hand involvement. Ball forward for McIntosh. And coming out was Reynolds. An opportunity over on the far side of the field perhaps for the Lakes to go forward again. Meantime, we'll just enjoy looking at this sky. Beautiful scenery from an atmospheric perspective. Oh, that's a neat touch from Foggerty. A little bit too cute perhaps, and Jared Shaw just saying, well, maybe you could have played a little bit firmer to me, mate. I don't think anyone's going to find fault with Foggerty too much. That's a good ball, nice touch, nice control. Leaning back was Bubicello on the shot, and it was always going to go over the bar as a result.
Come on, Ed.
So 4-1, the Lakes looking pretty good here to cap their meteoric rise, although they're playing with fire a little bit at the back there. Reynolds not getting the ball upfield quite as well as Jay Roy was. He's putting his team under a little bit of pressure, although Moy couldn't quite latch onto that ball. Yeah, it's not bad scenery. Giving chase is Foggerty. Bubicello. One challenge, gets interrupted by another. No foul, says the referee. Just ran straight into Porter de Bubicello. Oh, that's a lovely ball. And another good save. Josh Fern denied again. Spencer, the cushioned header. Cusker's got involved a little bit more in this second half. He goes all the way back to Reynolds to retain possession. Clever. Pinchin made to work. Fern wanted that pass, never found its way through to him. Instead, Foggerty. Now here's an opportunity for Fern. Goes round the keeper McCloy, but the flag is up. Kobayashi was back anyway. It's brilliant football from the Lakes. Going to be a handful this year in the Brisbane Premier League, you'd think. Be well worth keeping track of their progress. Indeed, their progress through this FFA Cup as well. Not happening for Burleigh. Bulldogs have been kept on a pretty tight leash. Fern over the top. Fern against Lyons. Oh, a little bit of afters there. Players will need to be careful getting up. Referee O'Connor keeping a close look on things. Nothing doing. That's a nice touch from Bubicello again. Playing better with his back to goal. Just didn't get the return pass though. Again, you can see his frustration. It's not being as slick at the back as it had been in the first half from the Lakes, and they're giving opportunities for Burleigh to perhaps get back into this game if they can pick their passes. Lyons finds Kabach. Kabach can only find the foot of Sean, who is in the right place at the right time. And offside is the call. Foggerty, so dangerous, has been all game. Releases Cashman, who was offside. Cusker is shrugged off. Again, Bubicello doing well. Comes back to him now on the edge of the penalty area. Found his way to Noble by hook or by crook. Under the foot of Ellens. Phelan just crouches down in frustration to our left. Space on this near side. They opt to go far on the grandstand side of the field. Bubicello's made plenty of running. So too is Kabach. That's nice footwork from Kabach, but just ran into a brick wall. Daniel Spencer-shaped brick wall. That was a firm pass, so probably lucky that it got intercepted on its way through. He's going to continue challenging Noble. Noble, though, releases Beckham Casey. Now wide is Bubicello. Bubicello with a decent enough cross. He was aiming towards Brodie Smith, I think, but again, the angle's not quite right. And yeah, Reynolds fell over for some reason. Oh, nice little flick on there from Fern. Fern making his way into the middle of the field. Foggerty goes round one. Angle's narrow, and he's set up his third of the game, and Josh Thurn gets his second. 5-0. It's great football. Even the sky looks appreciative. Putting on a show up there, and Daniel Foggerty and Josh Fern are putting on a show down here as well. It's the Lakes 5, Burleigh Heads 1. We're starting to get into some pretty good territory for the Brisbane Premier League team. Already said that there's only been one defeat for Burleigh in the FFA Cup in their history. 6-game history. This will be their first defeat to a Football Brisbane team. They've played 3-1-3 so far. Their heaviest defeat was only 3-2 against Logan 2019, so you can safely say that this is that for them. The Lakes, they've had a couple of heavy defeats of their own. A 9-1 against Strikers back in 2018, which was their best run in the competition when they got to the 5th round. Well, Brisbane Strikers ended that pretty comprehensively. Their biggest ever win in the Cup was 6-2 in that year, round 2 against Barden La Trobe. So that's certainly on. If they can get another goal or two, it'll go some way to reconciling their heaviest ever defeat, though 10-0 in the 2nd round of 2017 against Acacia Ridge. Foggerty doesn't quite have the running to go for those solo runs that typified his 2nd goal, so he was looking for a hat-trick by means of an even more spectacular medium. The halfway line shot, the shot from well inside his own half, but he was well off target in the end.
Lucky looks to make the run.
That's a good tackle by Porter, really good tackle. Now the link up again between Foggerty and Fern, but Fern can't find his man. But Casey did really well then to bring that down and play the ball inside. Casey with the shot. It was always over the top, but it was a nice little reach and touch, almost in consecutive movements from Beckham Casey. Sean was backtracking, that's not a great pass. McCloy did well, and has to be said, Nick Miller was quite a way away from the line. Another coming together between O'Connor and Fern, this time I think just to check something in the eye. It'll be a goal, it'll be a throw-in. Veteran Daniel Spencer enjoying himself. He has a goal to his name. Wonderful header it was too. McCusker, Smith, back to Smith from McCusker. That's a lovely little ball through to Sean, who was offside. The two co-coaches of the Lakes, Terry Janman and Steve Harrison, are doing my job for me. That was good football. It's good to watch from the Lakes so far this evening. This evening turns into night, and those floodlights that were so ineffectual earlier start to come into their own. There's been some good matches and good results, and interesting results so far in the FFA Cup. Moggle, who we covered in the first phase of the competition. Kabach mazes his way through. Kabach does really well, narrows the angle. That's a great goal from Felipe Kabach.
Come on.
A smattering of applause from the Burleigh fans who've made the trip up. Indeed, probably a couple of the Lakes players as well. That was an excellent goal. Sived his way through the Lakes defence. Probably should have been a tackle thrown in there, but 20 minutes or so left. Luke Riddle, the teenager, who's going to come on. He's going to replace Sean. And now Gary Waters, the Irishman, in Blanketstown in Dublin. He's going to come on as well and replace Charlie Porter.
Come on.
I'm feeling not happy with these little delays. Riddle on to show some pace. The move was clearly set for him to run, but the pass didn't quite allow for that. Kamach goes back to McCloy. McCloy's going to be put under pressure. Got rid of the ball well. Good header in the end to Smith. Under significant pressure. Smith still under pressure, does well to get the ball away from Riddle and back towards the defensive line. Lewis Prince is on for Burleigh Heads. Inadvertently flicked on by Smith. Fern wins the throw-in. DeAndre McClusker. Riddle couldn't get his chest onto it. Gets his foot onto it though with the run, and covering back to make the challenge was James Ellens because Josh Fern was in there. Fantastic work from Luke Riddle because he really pushed his chest out to make it and then wasn't able to make contact but still didn't give up the ghost, and it's a good attribute to have as a player, not to give up on any situation. Luxury for Terry Jamman and Harrison and Steve Harrison is that they can ask players if they fancy having a bit of a run this early stage of the season. Corner is swept in towards the back post. It was another great delivery from Foggerty, and Fern was the intended target. That's the player he's talking to, and I can't see who it is. Might be Nick Shadbot. Can't see him out there at the moment, or George Smith, brother of Harry, who's been out there. Might be carrying an injury, and that might be why he's a little bit reluctant to test himself, as Harry Smith makes a change, or at least attempts to. Good work again from Kabach. Well, he's dispossessed. Might have been a fouling there somewhere. A little bit cheeky from Fern, and sold his teammate short. Cello did quite well there. Just got overrun by the defenders, and Chris Reynolds trying to eat up a couple more seconds, and that's all it will be, a couple of seconds. And then Chris Reynolds has a little complaint about the fact that Bubicello had a kick out when Chris Reynolds was really playing with fire by inviting that onto himself. So not quite sure he's going to get too much sympathy from many avenues. I don't think he even made contact. Bubicello, ball goes over the top, flags up though against Foggerty. That would have been ridiculous had he managed to get the ball on target there. So asking Bubicello and Kabach, the two South Americans, to get on the ball more. Strong challenge from behind by Jack Porter. Here's an opportunity though, perhaps. Oh, and it almost turned into his own net there from Dan Spencer, who was tracking back. My apologies, was it Dan Spencer or was it Luke Riddle? Nevertheless, another barnstorming run from Felipe Kabach, and Seb Bubicello was there and involved as well. Corner swept in, flicked on. Can't be flicked from behind by Ellens. Was there a handball? Ball's in the back of the net anyway.
Come on, we go again.
And was that Beckham Casey who scored that?
Come on.
If it was a decent finish.
Felipe, keep taking them on. Jeff, keep going at
5-3. Do we still have a game here? They've had a lot of opportunities, the Lakes. But they've given the ball away again here. Noble switching play. Good opportunity perhaps for Kabach. Kabach went to ground, couldn't find a teammate.
Go on,
Chris Reynolds again going to take his time. Doesn't pick the ball up, gets it out to McCusker. McCusker's ball forward. Could yet fall for Foggerty. It was Harry Smith who opts to go wide instead. Foggerty's made a run into the middle. It does come to Foggerty. Riddle with the shot, didn't get all of it, and McCloy makes a good save down to his left. Nice touch from Smith. A little bit of confidence, skipping the step of Burleigh Heads all of a sudden. Smith intercepted there by McCusker. Still there for the visitors though. Here's Noble. It's one for Bubicello. Spencer, calm head, gets the ball upfield and it falls right to the man, but Burleigh Heads don't want it to. Daniel Foggerty. His ball wide though isn't the best. Cashman was making the run. McCloy finds Casey. Casey can't keep it under his control though, and again Foggerty finds himself on the ball. Now Cashman. Oh, Cashman bounces into Ellens, his opposite number. Ellens wins that little battle and plays it forwards to Beckham Casey. Foggerty mops up the loose possession. Oh, then intercepted. Bubicello, offside flag is up by Philip Kabach.
Hey, referee, how long is he taking here? Hey, stop giving a fucking ball away up top.
Josh Fern has just earned himself a spray from Steve Harrison. So they keep giving the ball away up top. If you missed that from Steve Harrison. Just about kept in there by Riddle. Riddle needs support, finds it in McCusker. He's been good, McCusker. Good acquisition from BG's. Noble mops up there though, and Noble could release. Moy here. That's a good challenge from Spencer.
Come on, Rocky!
Bit more urgency all of a sudden inside the final 10 minutes. Boot was high from Bubicello, nothing doing. Can't squeeze his way out of that little alleyway. Heavily populated by Lakes defenders. Smith. Noble with the heavy touch. Still there for Smith though. Lines. A lot of space for Ellens. Oh, almost. Oh, an opportunity here. Flag goes up. Flag goes up. The ball's in the back of the net, but the flag went up. And Bubicello is furious. And then O'Connor just got touched. Just got pushed, did he, by Fern? Was it Fern or was it Spencer? No, Spencer got the touch and Spencer's got yellow carded. There's a discussion going on. The flag was certainly up. So I don't think this goal's going to stand. Bubicello's still claiming it though. The assistant is saying that Bubicello is offside.
Come on.
Goal stands 5-4. It's a goal that Seb Bubicello's performance has certainly warranted. Discussions ongoing. Spencer's already got himself a yellow card for really bundling into Liam O'Connor in frustration. Josh Fern was close to getting a booking. Oh, and tell you what, Daniel Spencer probably saw a red card flash before his eyes then, because O'Connor hesitated and looked back towards him. 3-0 down the Lakes were in the 41st minute. They've scored 3 unanswered goals after going 5-1 down in the 68th. What an exceptional cup tie this has turned into. 5 minutes or so remaining. There'll be stoppage time though. Came off the defender, the assistant has just told Terry Janman. Steve Harrison is still arguing the fact, of which point I don't know, because here come the visitors again. They do have such an exceptional record in the FFA Cup, Burleigh Heads. They've won all 3 of their games against Football Brisbane competitions. They've won 5 of their 6 games in the competition's history. Their only defeat coming against Logan Lightning from then the Football Queensland Premier League.
Go on, Jay.
Corner kick won by Philippe Kabach. 4 minutes remaining of normal time. Corner. It's a good one. It's flicked on. And everyone wearing a white shirt is jumping up and down saying that there was a handball. Referee's given a corner, so there must have been a touch.
Hey, come on, hey.
Colin Phelan, the only calm man in the entire building at the moment.
Do it. Do it.
Not calm anymore. Prince sweeps the ball in. It's a brilliant save. Exceptional stuff from Chris Reynolds. It was a free header.
Come on, you go again.
And it will be another corner kick. Chris Reynolds might well have just kept his side in this. Another good corner, another good delivery. It's in! It's in! 5-all! Philippe Kabach is claiming the goal. It might have come off Lake's head, but it doesn't matter because it's in anyway. What a turnaround here at Kinsella's Sports Complex. They were 5-1 down. 5-1. It's 5-all. Oh, it's been exceptional. The Lakes have had so many opportunities. A lot of them have come by the way of that man there, challenging for the ball, Foggerty. Smith challenging and winning the ball well. Now Fern. Riddle trying to turn the corner. Good defence from Brodie Smith, but it is a corner. Now some of the deliveries from the Lakes have been just as good as those that we've just seen from Burleigh. Dan Spencer's coming up. Colin Phelan just checking, and there will be extra time if the result stays with what we have at the moment. Oh, it's gone in, has it? It's gone in direct! It's gone in direct! What a way to score your hat-trick! Dan Foggerty has got 3 assists. He's got 3 goals. The Lakes have 6. And they lead Burleigh Heads 6 goals to 5. It's a rugby score. And a brave comeback from Burleigh Heads appears to have been nipped in the bud with just a couple of minutes remaining. There's still time though. This game's had just about everything so far. Why not extra time? Challenge was Bubicello. Still there, needs to be dealt with, is dealt with. Phelan's been an adept ball boy all day. Need to be on side here. Prince gets his angles wrong. Phelan trying to rouse his troops once again. Reynolds has been asked to deliver ball this way, probably a bit too far this way. Nice touch over on that far side from Casey. Kobayashi. Bubicello races onto it. Bubicello twisting, turning, trying to get around Jack Porter, but he runs out of real estate. And Colin Phelan to our left knows just how important that might be. Daniel Foggerty has been involved in all 6 of the Lakes goals. Burleigh Heads were 5-1 down. They fought back to 5-all. Can you believe? Oh, this is the magic of the cup, isn't it? God, you gotta love it. You have got to love it. There is nothing like a cup competition. It is so good for the FFA Cup to be back this year. Oh, you don't want to be doing that in your own penalty area too many times, but it's worked out well for the visitors. That's a good ball forward as well from Max Lyons. And by way of Lockie Moyle, he's won a corner. Every single red-shirted player flooding back into their own penalty area. Ryan McCloy, I thought he was being given the go then. Another short corner picked up by Prince. Prince changing the angle. It's an awkward one at the back post. Flapping at it was Reynolds. He got enough on it though. It's held back inside. The header's still there. It's still bobbling around. Heading the ball away is that man, Daniel Foggerty. And he wins a free kick for putting his head in a dangerous position really as the boots were flying. Get the ball upfield quickly to the Lakes, reasoning that Burleigh Heads can't do anything if the ball's back there. That's lovely skill from Kobayashi over on that far side of the field. Still there though. Kobayashi lets it run behind him. Philippe Kabach can't get a hold of it. There's still time to play. There's been a fair bit of toing and froing in this game. What a thrilling conclusion. There's a lot to unpack from this. Could make a highlights reel of its own. Will there be a fairy tale for Burleigh Heads? Another throw-in.
Come on, eh?
It's taking an age to get this ball ready to put back in play. Kobayashi finally has it in his hands. Not sure about that throw. Bubicello.
Get your muffin! Get your muffin back! Again
Casey wins the throw-in, takes it quickly. Bubicello helps it on. Here's a shot. That would have been spectacular. As it was just slightly disheartening.
Come on, eh? Chance to hurry up, left, eh?
Reynolds will not rush this, you wouldn't have thought. We're in the hands of Liam O'Connor and have been for a while. Still we play on. Fern caught that one on his head. Foggerty plays it forward, goal kick, a long look at the whistle. A long look at the watch, sorry. Whistle still well away from the mouth of referee Liam O'Connor. That's where we'll be looking. Another long look at the watch. Pressure from Fern.
Go on, Brody! Unlucky, unlucky, Lindsay. Come on, we go again. Come on, eh?
Fern wants the ball over this side.
Just slide, Jay.
Another long look at the watch. We still play on. But that's not where Burleigh want the ball to be being played. A throw in deep inside their own half, and it's a throw in to their opponents, who lead by 6 goals to 5. They did lead 5-1 at one point. Liam O'Connor telling the Lakes to hurry things up, so there is still time to be played. It is a goal kick. And then kicking the ball away was Fern. Probably not enough to warrant a yellow card, because it didn't go very far, and I think the referee's just going to keep playing on anyway. Another long look. Half an eye on the referee, half an eye on the action. Long ball forward. Moyes on the end of it. Helps it back inside. It's an awkward header for Spencer. Bubicello. Smith with the cross. Oh, it's at the back post. It's allowed to bounce. Oh, it's off the crossbar and over. And that's the final action. Can you believe it? What a chance to equalise at the death for Burleigh Heads. They trailed by 5 goals to 1. They fought their way back to 5-all. And then that man, Daniel Foggerty, who got a hat-trick of assists. He got a hat-trick of goals as well. A free kick, a goal direct from a corner, and a wonderful mazy run in reverse order. He set up 2 for Josh Fern and supplied for corner for Daniel Spencer. But Burleigh Heads never gave up. Alex Pynchon scored a goal just before half-time, and then it was 2 for Kabach. Perhaps one of them was an own goal. Bubicello got one, and so did Beckham Casey. And then that ball headed onto the crossbar deep in stoppage time. And that is what stopped this game going to extra time. Disappointment for Burleigh Heads and Colin Phelan. The Lakes march on to the 4th round. I think we're all going to need to catch our breath for a bit after that, not least the players and everyone involved. Absolutely incredible scenes at the Kinsella Sports Complex, and again, magic of the Cup. If you did enjoy what Daniel Foggerty and Josh Fern were providing, by the way, they will be playing in the Indigenous Roos team when they take on the National Premier League's Queensland Premiers, Peninsula Power, next week at AJ Kelly Park. February 27th, head to Peninsula Power's Facebook page for all the details on that. I saw a real display from those 2 veterans here today. It was absolutely exceptional. I've just been sent a few texts, have been flying in telling me what a game that was. You're absolutely right. To everybody who watched it with us on Facebook and YouTube, we hope you enjoyed it as well. A couple of dates for you to remember and to keep in your diary. NPL Queensland kicks off again March 5th with Peninsula Power taking on Logan Lightning in the Football Foundation Cup game. Couple of big games in that first week. Lions taking on Gold Coast Knights as well on the following day, March 6th. FQPL 1, that gets started the following weekend on March 12 when Ipswich Knights and Mitchelton meet and Holland Park Hawks and Southside Eagles do battle, and then Football Queensland Premier League 2. The inaugural season of that will get underway with Caboolture taking on Samford. We hope you have enjoyed this coverage of the 3rd round of the FFA Cup in the South East Queensland region. This interzone clash has really paid off in terms of entertainment and drama. It's disappointment for Burleigh Heads, it's elation eventually, and probably relief for the Lakes. And it's been a fantastic encounter. We hope you've enjoyed it. I've been Simon Smells. It's been a double take production for Football Queensland and the FFA Cup. Head to theffacup.com.au and footballqueensland.com.au for all future FFA Cup match information and fixture information of the draw, which I'm sure we will get underway for the 4th round as soon as possible, because we want more of that sort of action. Best of luck to both teams in the rest of their seasons. We'll hopefully see the Lakes further on down the track in the FFA Cup, but from Us here at Kinsella Sports Complex, it's good evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.